Welcome everybody. Today we'll start a new chapter, that is chapter 3 of class 11th biology, plant kingdom. We'll discuss this chapter in 6 sessions, and today I'm going to start the first session of this chapter, and in this session we'll be discussing classification systems, classification of plant kingdom, characteristics, reproduction, and economic importance of algae. Now in the previous session, like in previous chapter, we have discussed about the 5 kingdom classification and 2 kingdom classification, and the most accepted one or universally accepted one was the 5 kingdom classification, which was proposed by R.H. Whitaker in 1969. So according to the 5 kingdom classification, let me remind you, the 5 kingdoms are Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. Okay, and Monera includes all the unicellular prokaryotes, Protista includes all unicellular eukaryotes that we have already discussed. Now the Fungi, Plantae and Animalia, these 3 groups includes multicellular eukaryotes, but fungi also includes unicellular organism. The common example is yeast, but most of them are multicellular. So we have also finished fungi. Now we'll discuss Plantae in this session. In this chapter we'll discuss about the plant kingdom or kingdom Plantae. So now the classification system. So before going to the plant kingdom, details of the plant kingdom or division of the plant kingdom, we should know different classification system of plant kingdom. So the different systems are artificial classification system, natural classification system, phylogenetic classification system, numerical taxonomy and cytotaxonomy. So first of all, we'll discuss these systems of classification. Let us discuss one by one. First, the artificial classification system. It was given by Linnaeus, Carolus Linnaeus, and it was the earliest system of classification. And what is the basis of this classification? It was based on the superficial morphological characters like habit, color, number and shape of the leaves. Only few morphological characters are taken into consideration for classifying the plants, or we can say it was mainly based on the vegetative characters or on the androecium structure. So vegetative character means the normal structures, and androecium structure is the reproductive character. Androecium is the male reproductive part of the plant, so it is the reproductive character. Okay, so here both vegetative and reproductive characters are given importance, but only few characters are taken into consideration. Okay, now what are the drawbacks of this artificial system of classification? So since only few characteristics were considered for the system of classification, so what happened? The characters, the species which are closely related, now they are separated. Okay, and since this system gives equal weightage to the vegetative and sexual characters, this is not acceptable. Vegetative character को और sexual character, that is reproductive character को equal importance दिया जा रहा था, but vegetative character may change, that may be affected by environment. For example, the vegetative character, take one example, that is the color of the leaf, shape of the leaf, or you can say simply the structure of the leaves of a particular plant. So if we keep a particular plant under sunlight, sufficient nutrient is there in the soil, then that plant will grow healthy, the leaf size and shape will be normal, the leaf will be green in color. So here the environment is okay, healthy, so plant growth is healthy and the plant structures, vegetative characters are also healthy. But if the same plant is kept inside a room, inside a dark room where there is no sunlight, and if it is grown in a soil where there is no sufficient nutrient, then gradually what happens, the leaf becomes yellow in color. So here what happens, since the environment changed, the color of the leaf changed, the shape of the leaf will also change. So the vegetative character is changing. So we cannot rely upon the vegetative characters. We cannot give equal importance to the vegetative character as we are giving to the reproductive characters. Now, natural classification system. It was based on natural affinities. Naturally organisms किस तरह related है उसके ऊपर ये depend करता है, and it was based on external feature, that is morphology, internal feature, that is anatomy, then embryology, that is how the organism has been developed from a zygote, then phytochemistry, what are the chemicals produced by the plants, what are the chemicals derived from the plants, plants से resin, tannin, gum, latex ये सारे मिलते हैं. So all these things were taken into consideration while classifying the plants, and this system was given by George Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooker. It is otherwise known, the natural classification system is otherwise known as Bentham-Hooker classification system. Now next is phylogenetic classification system. It was proposed by John Hutchinson and it was based on evolutionary relationship between the various organisms. So in if you remember, in 5 kingdom classification system, one of the bases of classification was phylogeny, that is evolutionary relationship. So what is evolution? It is the development of complex organism from simpler form with modifications. Okay, that is descents with modifications. From the ancestors, the descendants are formed with modifications. That's why they become, in due course of evolution, they become a new species. So how you can establish the relationship between the organism or between two species depending upon the course of their evolution. So here I'll explain you with the help of this diagram. In this diagram, you can see there are 3 species, species 1, species 2 and species 3. Here also you can mark that species 1, 2 and 3 have a common ancestor. Okay, it is encircled with red color. And again species 1 and species 2 have a common ancestor. So now what happens? If you relate species 1 with species 3, then you will find the similarities between species 1 and species 3 will be very less. They are less related because they, in the course of evolution, they have traveled a long distance. Okay, but during the course of evolution of species 1, जब species 1 evolve हो रहा है, on the way the species 2 is evolved. Now you can see, you can observe that the species 1 and species 2 are more related. ज़्यादा related है species 1 and species 2. Okay, तो इससे हमको पता चलता है कि ये दोनों species 1 and species 2 why they are related? Because their ancestors are common and they have traveled a short distance in the course of evolution. Evolution में उन्होंने short distance travel किया है, लेकिन आप species 1 और species 3 को अगर compare करोगे तो उनके बीच distance ज़्यादा हो जाता है. That's why they are less related. Okay, तो इससे हमको पता चल जाता है कि species 1 and species 2 may be belonging to the same genera or same phylum, same division or same order, same class, कोई भी एक टैक्सा के अंडर आ सकते हैं. लेकिन स्पीसीज 1 एंड स्पीसीज 3 को अगर हम रिलेट करेंगे तो वाइडली सेपरेटेड टैक्सा के अंडर वो आएंगे. उसके अलावा फाइलोजेनेटिक क्लासिफिकेशन सिस्टम का सबसे बड़ा एडवांटेज है कि दिस रिजॉल्व्स द डिफिकल्टीज इन क्लासिफिकेशन. क्लासिफिकेशन में हमारे जो डिफिकल्टीज था, जैसे हम अगर एक्सटर्नल फीचर को देखेंगे, ओनली इंटरनल फीचर को देखेंगे, तो उसमें हम कुछ स्पीसीज को अलग कर देते थे. लेकिन हम अगर अभी इवोल्यूशनरी रिलेशनशिप को एस्टैब्लिश करेंगे, देन द स्पीसीज विल गेट ए करेक्ट प्लेस इन द classification system or in the taxonomic hierarchy. Besides that, now it is a boon for the evolutionist. Evolutionist जो evolution के बारे में स्टडी करते हैं, दो स्पेसीज के बीच जब रिलेशनशिप एस्टैब्लिश करना चाहते हैं या फिर किस ऑर्गेनिज्म से किस ऑर्गेनिज्म का इवॉल्व हुआ, जैसे हम मानते हैं कि फिश से आपका एम्फीबियंस का इवोल्यूशन हुआ, तो ये कैसे पता चलता है? From the fossils or by studying the anatomy and morphology or by studying the like biochemistry, by studying the cell structure or by studying evolution. But one of the study is fossil. So when there is no fossil available for any particular organism, then this classification system is quite helpful to establish the relationship between the species. Now the next system of classification is numerical taxonomy. So it is based on all observable character. बाहर से जितने सारे कैरेक्टर दिख रहा है, इससे पहले जब हम लिए थे आर्टिफिशियल सिस्टम, उसमें ओनली फ्यू कैरेक्टर्स लिए थे लिनियस ने, बट न्यूमेरिकल टैक्सोनॉमी में सारे ऑब्जर्वेबल कैरेक्टर को स्टडी किया जाता है, उसको नंबर दिया जाता है और कोड दिया जाता है. हर कैरेक्टर को कोड दिया जाता है, नंबर दिया जाता है. ओके, उसके बाद उसको कंप्यूटर में फीड कर दिया जाता है. ओके, तो यहाँ आपका जितने सारे ऑब्जर्वेबल कैरेक्टर होते हैं, हर एक कैरेक्टर को इक्वल इंपॉर्टेंस दिया जाता है एंड एट ए टाइम थाउजेंड्स ऑफ कैरेक्टर्स कैन बी कंसिडर्ड. और इसको क्योंकि हम कंप्यूटर में फीड कर देते हैं, तो आपको मान लो कोई दो स्पीसीज के बीच आपको सिमिलरिटी फाइंड आउट करना है, देन यू क्लिक ऑन द टू स्पीसीज, देन ऑटोमेटिकली द सिमिलरिटीज and the number of similarities along with the codes will be appearing. Then you can very easily classify the organism. ठीक है, तो हमने नंबर दे दिया, कोड भी दे दिया हर एक कैरेक्टर को. तो ये नंबर और कोड दे देने से हमको स्पीसीज को आइडेंटिफाई करने में इजी हो जाएगा, क्योंकि हम ये कंप्यूटर के हेल्प से हम आइडेंटिफाई कर रहे हैं. So this character, this numerical taxonomy is helpful in preparation of the key. हमने आपको जो की के बारे में बताया था क्लास चैप्टर 1 में. So उसी में हमने की के बारे में जिक्र किया था. तो की बनाने में ये न्यूमेरिकल टैक्सोनॉमी बहुत हेल्पफुल होता है. जितना ज्यादा सिमिलरिटी होता है, जितना सारा ज्यादा कॉमन कैरेक्टर होता है, उतना ज्यादा रिलेटेड होते हैं दो स्पीसीज. And it was developed by Robert R. Sokal and Peter H. A. Smith in 1963. Next is cytotaxonomy. Cyto means cell. Taxonomy, you know, it is the study of classification. So this system of classification is based on cytological information, mainly the chromosome number, because the chromosome contains the DNA and DNA carries the DNA is the genetic material, and the DNA actually regulates our all character. So here the chromosome number, structure, behavior of chromosome and chemotaxonomy, which uses chemotaxonomy means what? The chemical constituent of the plant or the plant cell are considered for classification. So the cytotaxonomy is based on the data related to chromosome number, structure, chromosome behavior, and the chemical constituents of the plant or the plant cell. So now come to the division of kingdom Plantae. So now kingdom Plantae is divided like this. So the first division is cryptogams and phanerogams. Crypto means hidden and gamos means that gametes. It is related to gametes. So the cryptogams are those plants in which the gametes are hidden, or the sexual reproduction that takes place in this case is not prominent, not clear. So they are called cryptogams, or we can say these are the seedless plant, flowerless plant. Okay. On the contrary, the phanerogams are, phanero means open, gamos means related to the gamete, the sexual reproduction, that is gametes. So here the sexual organs are prominent, and these are the flower bearing and seed bearing plants. So cryptogams are seedless and flowerless plants. Phanerogams are seed bearing and flower bearing plants. Now again, cryptogams are categorized into non-vascular plants and vascular plants. Vascular means what? Presence of the vascular tissue or conducting tissue. Then which tissue are called vascular or conducting tissue? That is xylem and phloem. So non-vascular plant means those plants in which xylem and phloem are absent. Xylem, phloem are the vascular or conducting tissue which are absent in the non-vascular plants. Now come to the vascular plants. Vascular plants are those plants which contains the conducting or vascular tissue, that is xylem and phloem. Now again, these non-vascular plants are categorized into thallophyta and bryophyta. So thallophyta includes those plants whose body is not differentiated into root, stem or leaf-like structure. Now come to the bryophyta. Bryophyta includes those plants which contains leaf-like, stem-like and root-like structure, but they don't have real or true root, stem and leaves because they don't have xylem and phloem. So that's why the bryophyta are the group of plants which are non-vascular, but they have root, stem and leaf-like structure, but not true root, true stem and true leaves. Now the vascular plant, under vascular plant, the pteridophyta comes. In pteridophyta is the first cryptogam where the vascular tissue, that is xylem and phloem are present. So the pteridophyta are differentiated into true root, true leaves and true stems, which contains the xylem and phloem. Now coming to the phanerogams. The phanerogams includes all the vascular plants. So whatever plants are included under phanerogams are all vascular plants. That means they have xylem and phloem. The vascular plants are again divided into two groups, that is gymnosperms and angiosperm. Gymno means naked, sperm means seed. Angiosperm means closed, angio means closed, sperm means seed. So in gymnosperm, the seeds are naked. That means they are not present inside the fruit. In angiosperm, the seeds are present inside the fruit. Okay. So this is the difference between gymnosperm and angiosperm. The next is dicotyledon and monocotyledon. Now this angiosperm is again divided into dicotyledon and monocotyledon. So what is dicotyledon? Those angiosperms which have two cotyledon. What is cotyledon? आपने देखा होगा जब कोई प्लांट सीड से ग्रो करता है, आपने देखा होगा प्लांट जब स्टेम शुरू में ग्रो करता है उसके दोनों तरफ दो फ्लेसी लीफ लाइक स्ट्रक्चर होते हैं, या कुछ प्लांट के एक फ्लेसी लीफ लाइक स्ट्रक्चर होते हैं जिसको कहा जाता है एम्ब्रियोनिक लीफ. सो कॉटिलीडन मीन्स एम्ब्रियोनिक लीफ. अगर दो कॉटिलीडन होते हैं then those plants are those angiosperms are called dicotyledon, and if one cotyledon एक embryonic leaf है then that is called monocotyledon. So this is regarding the classification of or division of the plant kingdom. So now I'll give just introduction to the Thallophyta in this session. So let me tell you the general characteristics of Thallophyta. The Thallophyta generally found in moist or wet places, marshy lands, and they are green in color, they are autotrophic, and they may be of different color also, but even if they are of different color, they contain chlorophyll pigment. So they are autotrophic, they can synthesize their own food. The reserve food is generally starch, but it may also be some other form of carbohydrate. They have a cellulose cell wall around their cell, and they have a unicellular or multicellular structure. ये जो थैलोफाइटा है ये यूनिसेलुलर या मल्टीसेलुलर हो सकते हैं, and these plants have a very soft body and most often they are fiber like body. तो ये थैलोफाइटा के अंदर क्या आता है? What are the plants that comes under Thallophyta? That is algae. So here you can see varieties of algae having different structures. So all these structures are green in color, but besides that red algae, brown algae are also there. So here you can see all algae are green. Basically they are having chlorophyll pigment, Olva, then Spirogyra, Chara, Cladophora, Elothrix. So all are chlorophyll containing, and most of them are filamentous or fiber like, but here Olva is leaf like structure, irregular shape leaf like structure, but all the structures are very soft in their texture. So as I said, the chlorophyll bearing simple thalloid means they are not differentiated into root, stem or leaf. They are autotrophic, largely aquatic, and they can remain both in fresh water as well as marine water, and they can you can see them on the moist stone, soils and wood. They can occur in association with fungi, like they form lichen, that is the algal and fungal association of symbiotic association, that is called lichen, and they can also grow on the animals, for example on sloth bear. Then they can mostly the algae are colonial. Colonial means they form a group, but some of them also lead a solitary life. Solitary means individual, अकेले रहते हैं या फिर कॉलोनी ग्रुप में रहते हैं, एज इन केस ऑफ वॉलबॉक्स, या फिर फिलामेंटस हो सकते हैं लाइक स्पाइरोगाइरा, एंड कुछ algae बहुत बड़े ट्री के जैसा भी होते हैं. दे आर द मेराइन फॉर्म्स लाइक केल्प. हम सक्सेसिव सेशन में हम पढ़ेंगे इसके बारे में, how the algae are like looking like the big trees. Next, the common method of reproduction in algae. The algae reproduce by all the three methods, that is vegetative, asexual and sexual method. Vegetative reproduction takes place by fragmentation. That means the plant body when divided into pieces, then each piece will develop into a new plant. Then asexual reproduction takes place by the formation of different types of spores, and most common type of asexual spore is zoospore. Okay, so what are zoospore? The zoospores are the asexual spores which are flagellated and motile. Okay, remember, very important. Zoospores are the asexual spores which are flagellated and motile, and when they get favorable condition, they germinate to give rise to a new plant. Yes, here you can see all the three mode of reproduction. So first is vegetative reproduction seen in Spirogyra. Spirogyra can reproduce also by sexual method, but here I have shown you the vegetative method, that is fragmentation. Here you can see the plant body, the parent body is divided into two pieces. Now each piece has been developed into a new Spirogyra filament. Okay. Now the second one, you can see this is the asexual reproduction, and the most common type of asexual reproduction takes place by the formation of zoospores. So here you can see the zoospores are produced, how the zoospores are released from the cladophora. This is example of cladophora. So the zoospore, what are zoospores? Zoospores are flagellated asexual spores having flagella. आप यहाँ देख सकते हैं एक एक स्पोर का दो flagella है. Then this last structure is of sexual reproduction. Here how the fusion of the gamete is taking place, that is shown here. Now sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction takes place through fusion of gamete, is like in other organisms. The sexual reproduction is of two types. One is isogamous, other is anisogamous. Iso means similar, gamous means gametes. So the fusing gamete, जो gamete fuse होते हैं, those gametes are similar in size, but they may have flagella or may not have flagella, but they are always similar in size and shape. I'll show you the diagram. So जैसे flagellated ये हो सकते हैं as in case of Ulothrix, और नॉन फ्लैजेलेटेड हो सकते हैं स्पाइरोगाइरा में, ठीक है, बट उनका साइज एंड शेप सिमिलर रहता है. देन आप देखो एनाइसोगैमस. एनाइसो मींस डिसिमिलर. सो फ्यूजन ऑफ द टू डिसिमिलर गैमेट, दैट मींस एक बड़ा होगा एक छोटा होगा. सो साइज में they will vary, they vary in their size. So this is generally found in species of Eudorina. Okay. Then other type of sexual reproduction is oogamous. That means it is the fusion between two different gametes where the gametes are identified as female gamete and male gamete. The female gamete is non-motile, it does not have any flagella, and they are large and static, they cannot move. But the male gametes are smaller, they have flagella, they can move. And examples are volvox and fucus. So here you can see. So यहाँ डायग्राम में देख सकते हैं कि सबसे पहले आपका जो वेजिटेटिव रिप्रोडक्शन दिखाया गया आपका. So this is the vegetative body of the organism. So first one is Chlamydomonas, second one is Gonium, then Pleudorina, then Volvox. Volvox is colonial form, Pleudorina is also colonial form, and Gonium is also colonial form. ये colony group में हमेशा रहते हैं, but Chlamydomonas is not a colonial form. It is a free living and solitary. Solitary means अकेले रहना, ठीक है. तो यहाँ पर सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन का जो गैमेट फॉर्मेशन होता है, I have told you that there are three types of sexual reproduction: isogamous, anisogamous and oogamous. तो यहाँ पिक्चर से आप देख सकते हैं कि आइसोगैमस में आपका दोनों गैमेट जो फॉर्मेशन हुए हैं दोनों ही एक जैसा स्ट्रक्चर है, एक ही साइज के हैं और स्ट्रक्चर आइडेंटिकल है. तो इसीलिए इसको हम मेल और फीमेल में कैटेगराइज नहीं कर सकते. दैट्स व्हाई दे आर कैटेगराइज्ड एज प्लस एंड माइनस, ठीक है. तो आइसोगैमी में सिमिलर गैमेट्स आर प्रोड्यूस्ड एंड दे आर फ्यूज्ड ड्यूरिंग सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन एंड दे आर रिकॉग्नाइज्ड एज प्लस एंड minus. Okay. Now then come to your anisogamous. In anisogamous, you can see there is a female gamete and there is a male gamete. So these female and male gamete may be motile, may not be motile, but Pleurodina, the female and male gametes both are motile. That's why they are having flagella. But ये दोनों का साइज सेम नहीं होता. ठीक है. Then next, oogamous. In oogamous, there is clear distinction between male and female gamete. The egg is the female gamete, which is large, does not have flagella, it cannot move, and the sperm is motile, small in size. आप देख सकते हैं sperm में flagella है, that is the male gamete. So I think the isogamy, anisogamy and oogamy are very much clear to you. Now, importance of algae. How the algae is important for the environment and for the living organism. At least a half of the total carbon dioxide fixation on earth is carried out by alga through photosynthesis, because they all of them are having green pigment, so they fix most of the carbon dioxide on the earth during photosynthesis, and since during photosynthesis they release huge amount of oxygen, they increase the level of dissolved oxygen in their environment. Suppose it is water, then they will increase the dissolved oxygen in water. If they are on the land, then they will increase the oxygen level in the atmosphere. And they are the primary producer of energy rich compounds. Like in aquatic environment में, aquatic body में, या कोई pond ले लो, कोई river ले लो, कोई lake ले लो, वहां पर आपका जो primary producer होता है, सबसे पहला एनर्जी रिच कंपाउंड प्रोड्यूस कौन करता है? आपका एल्गी. सो पोर्फायरा, लैमिनारिया एंड सार्गासम आर अमंग द 70 स्पीशीज ऑफ मैरीन algae यूज्ड एज फूड. काफी मात्रा में हम जो आप जापान में जाओगे, यूएसए में जाओगे, तो ये आपका जो सी फूड है उसको एल्गी को, डिफरेंट वेराइटीज ऑफ एल्गी जो पोर्फायरा, लैमिनारिया एंड सार्गासम, इसको फूड के रूप से यूज करते हैं. Then certain marine brown and red algae produce large amount of hydrocolloids. Hydrocolloids क्या होता है? वाटर होल्डिंग सब्सटेंस. वाटर को होल्ड करके ज्यादा दिन तक रख सकते हैं. ठीक है. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल एल्गिन. Algin is a brown algae, and because of its water holding capacity, it is used as facial करने के लिए यूज किया जाता है. आपको ब्लड कोलेस्ट्रॉल लेवल को कम करने के लिए algin से दवाई बनाई जाती है. सिमिलरली कारागिन, ये एक रेड algae है, ये भी आपका मेडिसिनल पर्पस के लिए यूज होता है. एंड कारागिन, मोर ओवर कारागिन इज यूज्ड एज ए फूड. देन अगर आप 12th क्लास में पढ़ोगे इलेक्ट्रोफोरेसिस. इलेक्ट्रोफोरेसिस के लिए आपका अगर एक जेल लाइक स्ट्रक्चर होता है जो कि आपका सेपरेशन ऑफ डीएनए के लिए उसको मीडियम की तरह यूज किया जाता है. और देन आपका जो जेलिडियम एंड ग्रासिलरिया, जेलिडियम ग्रासिलरिया से जो अगर प्रोड्यूस होता है उसको माइक्रोब्स, जैसे आपको मैं बता दूं कि जब बैक्टीरिया को ग्रो किया जाता है तब उसको एक न्यूट्रिएंट या कल्चर मीडियम में रखा जाता है. तो वो कल्चर मीडियम में आपका ऑगर होता है जिससे उसको न्यूट्रिएंट मिलता है, एंड दैट ऑगर इज ऑब्टेन्ड फ्रॉम जेलिडियम एंड ग्रासिलरिया. ठीक है. इसके अलावा आपका ऑगर यूज होता है आपका आइसक्रीम बनाने में, जेली बनाने में, ये सब यूज होता है. देन क्लोरेला इज अ यूनिसेलुलर algae rich in protein and it is used as food supplement even by the space travelers. This is very very important. ठीक है. So in our next session we will discuss the classification of algae. So here we discussed the division of the plant kingdom, Then we discussed the introduction of algae, general character of algae and different methods of reproduction in algae, and also its importance, or rather we can say the economic importance of algae. Now in the next session we will discuss the classification of algae. So thank you for watching my video, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe, and please like and give a very motivational comment. That will be a capsule of motivation for me. Thank you once again for watching this video.